Yesterday, I had to go deep into myself as a news reporter of a few years. And I had covered many attorney generals. I've never seen an attorney general make his case against the accused person without having charged the accused person in such an elaborate manner as Dr. Ayine did yesterday. I mean, by the time Dr. Ayine finished the press conference yesterday, it was clear in everybody's mind that Kwabena Aduboahe is a big thief. I thought that was unfortunate. That was a low point of our democracy. That was unbecoming of a distinguished minister for justice. I felt so sad because it is not about partisanship. It's about the pride of the democracy. It's about the pride of having systems that work. Many years ago, I traveled to Côte d'Ivoire in 2011 with Adom-Otchere, the journalist, and we went to interview Laurent Gbagbo. We all felt very proud as Ghanaians. In fact, Kwesi Pratt led that team. We all felt very proud as Ghanaians when we were telling the Ivorians that in Ghana, we have so many radio stations. That time there had been an election that was conflicted. And we said in Ghana, this will never happen. The Electoral Commission will mention the results and that's it. And we felt very good about ourselves, that our democracy was ahead of the Ivorian democracy. Media plurality was ahead of the Ivory Coast media plurality. I remember Kwesi Pratt was shocked that, hey, they don't have a single private radio station since 2011. So there are things about our constitution and there are things about the conduct of our public officers that can make us proud, whether it's NDC or MPP. What happened at the press conference yesterday in relating to the cases? I thought, I appreciate Dominic Ayine saying that he only come to us with cases that he has investigated. But here he was talking about Solomon, that Solomon was running away from justice. And the next day, Solomon issues a press statement, almost suggesting that the learned minister for justice was lying. I mean, how? So I put here the face of the late Col Swansea, so that it might give us some inspiration. You see, when you go to the Manchester United dressing room at the Old Trafford, you see the photographs of Dennis Law, of Sir Bobby Charlton, and it's supposed to inspire the new generation. I don't know whether in the dressing rooms of Kumasi, Asante Kotoko, they have Baba Yara, Infum Kofi Tufo, Kwesi Appiah, Opoku Afriye, Kofi Bedu, Francis Kumi, those old players that inspire. Whether House of Folk have the Fearsome Five, Samson Lamte, Peter Lamte, Ofe Ansan, Nana Benyi Krensel, Shamokwe, whether they have that. But these photographs are to inspire the new generation. So with a very heavy heart, I put out these photographs so that we might be inspired. And please beg Dominic Ayine that this is the history of attorney generals. Not all of them have been MPP. Not all of them have been CPP. Not all of them have been NDC. But they have all kept at least that very distinguished characterization of our attorney general, who does not offend the Latin maxim nemo judes in cosa sua. He doesn't offend the Latin maxim. And he doesn't offend the Latin maxim of hearing the other side. But what's here the other side? Hearing the other side. What's the Latin for it? Oh yeah, I mean, it's just escaped all of us. But a judge is not, you cannot be a judge in your own cause, and you always have to hear the other side. You should not be a judge in your own cause as nemo judes in cosa sua. And then hearing, you must always hear the other side. These attorney generals have all, as far as the record shows, have abided by that principle. Even when the quality grain trial was on, and I covered quality grain every day, and at the end of the process, journalists, including international journalists, will approach the Attorney General Nana Akufo-Addo and say to him, how is the case going? And he always said the same thing. Adom-Otchere pattern. And nemo judes in cosa sua. No Attorney General has made an attempt to violate these principles. Yesterday, I saw those principles buried on their head when I watched the press conference of Dr. Ayine. Attorney General Akufo-Addo will tell the press during the trial of quality grain. They'll ask him that, do you think the accused persons are guilty? He'll tell them, no. We are going to make our case. We've continued to make our case. The defense will make their case. At the end of the day, Justice Afre will decide. And then he'll be smiling. And then he goes away. They ask him that, do you think the verdict? He said, you should ask Justice Afre that. This was in the days of 2001 When everybody was excited about Kufuor's administration that they are going to catch some thieves and they are going to deal with some NDC thieves of 20 years old. Attorney General Akufo-Addo resisted ever to comment on the process of the case. I remember I interviewed Dr. Obed Asamoah in the year 2000 after the very heavy Supreme Court case of the voter ID card. It was a big matter that sharply divided NDC and MPP. Obed Asamoah made his arguments in the Supreme Court forcefully. When he left the court, I rushed to him with a microphone and I said, Doc, how do you see the court? He asked me, how did you see it? And I said, well, I think it was good. Do you believe that the court will agree with you? Then he stopped. He was walking. He stopped. He said, these are not questions you should ask me. The Supreme Court panel has sat. They have heard me, and they have heard Nana Akufo-Addo, and they have heard Mr. Zuenis. They will make a decision. At 2 o'clock is what they said. Can't you wait for 2 o'clock? That's what he told me. And I was very excited by that. Betty Moldy-Drisu, when she was Attorney General, there was so much pressure on her that she should try people, she should convict people, she should try people and convict people. And sometimes she walk out of court and the media will ask, he says, no, please. She said that I have been a Solicitor General of the Attorney General's Department before I became Attorney General. We are not supposed to conduct our case in the press. We will not conduct our case in the press. And everybody used to remember that phrase, we will not conduct our case in the press. That was Betty Moldy-Drisu. Martin Amidu, hardly ever heard, speaking to journalists, Benjamin Kumbuo. And I'm using the NDC examples. And Dr. Ayine was Deputy Attorney General to Marietta. Viewers, did you ever hear Marietta ever, as Attorney General, trying any case publicly and telling people that this person is a thief and I'm coming after you? Civil servants, I'm coming. Attorney General and Minister for Justice threatens people that if you are like Justice, I'm coming after you. Anyway, for the purpose of the history, this is called Swansea. He was the first African Attorney General. The first Attorney General was not an African, even though it was after independence. His name is Godfrey Bain, a very distinguished Irish barrister, was our Attorney General then. But after him came called Swansea. This is Dr. Obed Asamoah. This is Nana Akufo-Addo. This is Papa Osuan Kuma. This is Ni Ayikwe Otu. This is Joe Gatti. And I remember Joe Gatti. Again, I covered the quality grain. Did I say quality grain? The MV Benjamin. The cocaine MV Benjamin trial. I covered it on a daily basis. Every day I was in Joe Gatti's office. Never once, whether when he set up the Georgian Wood Committee or when the trial started, did Joe Gatti ever grant any interview, even after the people had been charged. They had been charged though. They had been fully charged. The trial was on. Gatti never ever granted. And he always told the media that, what do you think? And he'll be joking with them. What do you also think? You're asking me. I'm not the judge. When they say the court is the judge. I'm the Attorney General and I'm doing my prosecution. And then he will smile about it and he will leave. Never once did Gatti do any such thing. If I roll it over this way, Gloria Kufu began the trial of Opuni. Did you ever hear anything? Godfrey Dame here. And somehow, I don't know whether Dominic Ayine has issues with Godfrey Dame. I understand from what happens in the Attorney General that he will ask that the Godfrey Dame step here, then he won't step there. That's not. We'll come to that. But I remember during the Atu-Forson trial, Atu-Forson was Minister of Finance today, when Godfrey Dame was Attorney General. NPP people were attacking Godfrey Dame that why did you allow Atu-Forson's statement to be taken in Parliament? He should come to a police station and take the statement. Who does he think he is? And Godfrey Dame told them that, but he's a member of Parliament of the minority. Parliament's a place where we can find him. So if you can find him in Parliament, what's the problem with it? They said, you have to go to his house. Dame said, for what? You should do that. Atu-Forson's statement was taken in Parliament, in the comfort of his parliamentary office. That's where his statement was taken. He was given a self-recognizance bill. That means he doesn't have to pay any money or put any money up. That's why Godfrey Dame did the Atu-Forson trial. The same Atu-Forson trial that became, they're forgotten. Or they remember, they will say it, Atu-Forson. The court people went to Parliament that he may make his statement. And then today, what do we see? Attorney General. Wow. This was something. Dr. Dominic, good evening to you, sir. This one was something. Attorney General finished trying the accused person, buried him. And as you heard in our promo, the only thing Dominic Ayine did not do about the press conference yesterday on Kwabena Duboahin was that he was unable to pronounce a sentence. That's the only thing he couldn't do. And why couldn't he pronounce a sentence? Because as we said in the promo, trials are not conducted in the media.